Welcome to Grounded Talks. I'm Sam Perkins, lover of coffee and someone who believes the best conversations happen when you get grounded. Each week, we'll pour a fresh cup and dig into ideas that shape how we think, feel, and show up, from mental health to real life balance. So grab your mug, take a deep breath. Let's get grounded. As always, I'm excited. I'm excited that you have come to join with me today. We're going to have a fun topic today. But before we do so, I want to give you a moment to run and grab your mug, grab your coffee, hot chocolate, your tea, as we dive into today's topic. I'm drinking a Costa Rican coffee. If you see, I'm in a different location today because I came to Costa Rica, a place where their coffee is incredible. And I have this cool honey pressed coffee today. I got it done in a pour over at a local coffee shop down here. And it is simply incredible. They had so many different ways. I've been down here for a few days now. They did a siphon for me, one of my favorite ways to have coffee made. It's like my own little party trick way, almost like a little chemistry set. And as you see, I don't have that much left because I've been killing this coffee today. It's an amazing blend. But let's take our first sip together and dive into today's topic. Man, that's good. Okay. Valentine's Day just went by. It just passed. And you saw it all on Instagram. You saw it while you were out. All the restaurants were booked. Roses and proposals and love, love, love was all around. And for some people, there was this subtle message, maybe even a loud one. If you aren't married yet, you must be doing life wrong. And at least that's the pressure that they felt. And as this was going on, I was sitting and having just a whole dialogue with one of my good therapist friends. And it led me to go, I'm going to just record a conversation today that is not anti-marriage. Wholeheartedly believe in marriage. I believe marriage is beautiful. One of the most honoring things that you can do um, in your lifetime is to share a life with someone. I believe that's amazing. I believe if you have a desire for marriage, that's incredible. But I want to talk to a group of people who they want to get that, but they're not really doing single well. I just believe if you desire marriage, if that's your goal, then you're going to have to learn to utilize your single space to live full, to learn to be whole, and healthy, especially if your goal is marriage. You want to do this time period well. And I get it. Some people in this space, they are feeling that they are behind. They are feeling that maybe they're not enough. And I want to help reframe this whole thing because I'm going to be teaching growth today. Growth and singleness. Singleness is not a waiting room. Singleness is about you being in a development season. And so there is going to be four major things I'm going to talk about today. First, I'm gonna dive into the singlehood shame trap. I'm gonna follow it up with expanding the definition of love, especially in a time period of singleness. Why waiting room mentalities delays joy, and how to intentionally build a fulfilling single life. Okay, let's dive into the first concept, which is the singlehood shame trap. As I told you, I was having a conversation with my therapy friend, and we talked about a bunch about the internal and external pressures of being in a relationship, being married, this thought that you have to be this way. And the internal pressure comes from a sense of maybe you have been in a relationship and you keep getting into relationships and you just haven't found the right one or it never goes right. There is a sense of something's wrong with you, that something's wrong with me type of thought. Maybe you're the person where you're getting older and you have a sense of I'm getting old. I'm not fulfilled because I haven't done this thing yet. I desire marriage, or maybe I desire marriage and kids and children, and you haven't done this yet. And so you have a sense of unfulfilled purpose. Um, Maybe you're in comparison and you are comparing to everybody else who's settled down. And for some reason you haven't been able to do that yet. Maybe, just maybe, you're starting to get this sense of I missed my chance. And that is a bunch of internal pressure. It's loud, it's heavy, and we're gonna have to do something about that. Maybe it's the external pressure. Maybe it's coming from your family and their expectations that you should be married already, you should be married, you should have kids. Maybe you're feeling the pressure of that. Maybe it's the church pressure, the church culture, or the religious culture around you that's saying you should be one with another. Maybe you're on social media, you're scrolling up and down, and you're seeing all these relationships, and you started comparing yourself. It's the cultural milestone that you had in your head that by this point, this is what usually is happening in culture. And I get it. There is a sense of belonging. There is a sense of connection that you desire, but all the shame that you have placed on yourself does not allow for you to actually live now. You're single? This is a great time. It's a great time to learn to belong and be yourself. I think the desire to want more is an amazing desire. I think it's something, if that's what you desire, to be married is incredible. But I think that you have to deal with yourself in this season of single and accept where you are. And that is, I'm good with me. I put the work in to be happy. I have done the work uh, to not shame myself, because when I do that, I stop, that is, building myself. I stop and I interrupt the growth that can happen during this time period. And actually, singleness isn't the absence of love. It's the opportunity to build a love capacity. And I want to hit this home with three ways that you are building your love capacity in singleness. The first one is important. Learning to love yourself. And I'm not just talking looking in the mirror, doing all the affirmations. That's incredible. Sometimes you need that. I'm not talking about self-love in the aesthetic way, all the trips and spas and all that. No, no, no. I'm talking about love and self-love in a way that actually keeps you healed and whole. I'm talking about the self love that helps you build and set boundaries with your mother. You know that she crosses your boundaries all the time. You know that she has infringed on you. You know that she has made you guilty or whatever. I'm talking about the boundaries that you have to set with your father. You know that you got a boundary problem there. I'm talking about the boundaries that you need to set with your friends that are unhealthy. They constantly use you, and you haven't allowed yourself to have enough respect for self to stop them constantly misusing you. I'm talking about discipline. This is a perfect time to figure out how to live a disciplined life, one that focuses on your mental health, one that focuses on your physical health, a disciplined life that helps you be whole. A big one, I think, that is self love. is emotional safety. Have you taken the time to heal the areas of your life that are emotionally unhealed or broken? I hate using the word broken. I'm using that as a way, as a word I've heard so much in this space where people have said, I feel broken. Um, and it really, they just don't feel safe. And have you done the work to make sure that you even have a capacity to display and communicate your emotions from one person to the next? I think a level of self love is actually understanding who you are, being safe with your identity, and building that. Uh, a big one. Oh man, I can't even think of his name right now. One of my favorite therapists talks about the art of saying no, the respect that you must have to learn to say no. It's not mean. It's actually a level of respect to you to say there's some things that I have to say no to. There's some areas in my life that I have to get together. Maybe it's hanging out too much. I'm partying all the time and I'm in my single stage that I should be building. Maybe this is a time that I should be educating myself more. I should be looking to grow more. I should be cutting out things of my life that do not serve or benefit me in a healthy capacity. And I learn to say no. And the last thing I'll say when it comes to loving yourself is that you want to learn to stop chasing inconsistency. You actually want to learn to build a consistent nature in your life. Self love is how you protect your peace. I'm not looking at this time period. If you're in this place, I'm not looking for you to decorate and make it look like you have self love. I'm actually looking for you to dive deeper and do the work that shows that you love yourself, that you have a safe life that you're living, and that you respect yourself. I think the next level of love that I want you to learn, I'm going over is learning to build a relational relationship that is platonic, a friendship level love. And man, I think this is something I'm so passionate about having this conversation right here, where it is friends are important. I think friends help you a great deal because they teach you that you can be safe and vulnerable. When you have a healthy friendship, you can be vulnerable. You do learn to communicate. You work on repairing. You actually learn a level of accountability. That word accountability mess with people sometimes. One thing that friendship teaches, I have multiple friends that I've been friends with for 20 plus years. And honestly, at this point, we don't even call each other friends anymore. You feel more like my brother or my sister. And notice you heard me say both sexes. You heard me say male and female. Why? Because I am not of the cloth that you can't have friends of the opposite sex. I'm of the mind that if you can't, you struggle with boundary problems. And you don't know how, you have a discipline problem. So you haven't learned how to do anything with the opposite sex that's platonic. And I think it helps that I can call on my friend who I at this point I see as a sister because it's been so long. I can call on her to get a level of accountability to help me see my blind spots, to be honest with me, um, to talk through certain things because there's certain things that I, as a male, can't see as well as a female. But once again, that requires a level of thinking that isn't so shallow. I think when you think about platonic love, you're learning how to do that well with males and females. You're learning how to do that and learning how to be emotionally safe. And when you're doing that, friendship's going to teach you the vulnerability that's needed before romance requires it. I want to learn vulnerability. I want to learn accountability. I want to be able to repair and talk through things and communicate in the right way well before I add a romantic partner. If marriage is your desire, friendship capacity becomes relational preparation. That's my main point. And here's three. What is loving? Loving is building your purpose and passion development muscle. You are in a season of being single. You are in a season of understanding what your purpose is and what you're passionate about. Far too many people enter marriage not knowing who they are, not knowing what they're called to do, not knowing what their gifts are. And so they're looking to their partner to help build something that they should already have. And I'm not saying you can't get in a partnership and they can't help you with that. I'm not saying that they can't help you find your vision, but man, some of that and most of that should be developed when you are single. Uh, Singleness provides the space to explore purpose. This is the time where I'm looking at, where am I headed and what am I believing for? And learning to do that actually helps you walk into spaces healthy and happy because I know what I'm called to do. I feel like I'm doing things I'm wired to do. I'm discovering my passions and my identity is something that I'm building day to day. I'm not searching for someone else to tell me what my identity is. I'm doing the work to do what I know I should be doing. Singleness is where you learn who you are before asking someone else to share your life. This is a place where you develop yourself. Uh, the next thing I want to jump to, and I know I want to shift quickly to this. Singleness actually gets harmed by a thought that is the waiting room mentality. I know I just spent a segment talking about loving yourself, and it's important because when you love yourself and you do those focus on those three areas I just talked about, you realize this waiting room mentality that's happening for some people, which is super harmful. My life doesn't start until I'm with someone, and that thought process is certainly unfortunate. Uh, One, it delays joy. It delays the fact that what you're doing now is important. The fact that what you're doing now is fulfilling, that you are accomplishing things, that you're working towards things in your life. It also shrinks your ability to take risk. You're waiting for something, so you're not. I can't buy a house yet because I can't do this yet because I'm not. And you start reducing the risk and the goals that you can go after. It actually, this waiting will actually is where you'll hear people say, I settled. Because you have this waiting room mentality, you'll settle for something that you shouldn't even be in because the time has passed or my clock is ticking or whatever the nature, you'll start settling versus doing the work to just love yourself, like I said before. It'll increase anxiety. This waiting, now you're anxious. Everybody you're meeting with, I'm just being intentional. Yep, that person's next. Every person you meet is now your partner. You're not seeing it clearly. You're in such a rush, so in such a hurry to find that you can't see it clearly because truthfully, you haven't done what I said, which is love yourself and know who you are. Therefore, you know what you shouldn't ever accept. When you treat singleness like a waiting room, you live life like your name hasn't been called yet. And that's rough. That's rough. My goal for you today is that you don't pause growth because you desire partnership, that you actually grow while in the waiting season towards partnership. So I did all this talking. And really, I wanted to get to this point, which is giving you some practical steps for a thriving life while single. My first thing is teaching you to refrain. If you're in a state and you're feeling lonely, you're in a state of loneliness, that's a thought of pain, a disconnected thought. I want to get you into a growth space, one that is intentional in your self development. I want you to realize that if you are single, this is the time to work and grow and develop. Number two, if is I want you to learn to invest intentionally in non-romantic relationships. I want you to build your community. I want you to deepen friendships. Let's stop the surface level friendships. Be in friendship with people that you should be, and develop an authentic relationship, one that breathes and grows with depth and real communication, one that has vulnerability and accountability. I want you to create some support circles, people that you can actually talk through life with. I want you to have an up peer and down relationship. A up relationship, one that where you can get mentored and someone can teach and pour into you. A down relationship where you can pour into someone else. And a peer relationship that where iron sharpens iron. One where you both are equally benefiting from this relationship. One that you can grow together, but one that actually challenges you in a way like no other. Uh, the last thing in when you're investing in non-romantic relationships, I want you to practice emotional openness. Who do you feel safe with to communicate to? I think we get into these spaces where we're just communicating to people that shouldn't. Too many people have information they should never have. I want you to have a person, a or people in your life that you trust, that help you, that shape you, that hold you accountable, and that you feel safe to communicate because that's a benefit to you in your single space. I'm gonna say this from this perspective. If you desire marriage, this is what you should be doing: developing emotional regulation, clarifying your identity, practicing boundaries, strengthening communication, and building purpose outside of relationships. That's for my people who are desiring marriage. If you are not pursuing marriage right now, that's not what you're thinking about, that's okay. I have something for you too. I want you to explore your identity. I want you to deepen your community, cultivate your purpose, develop emotional independence, practice self compassion. Because the truth is, you can be single and whole, you can be married and whole. Marriage should not be acts to fulfill identity gaps. Now, here's what I want to recap. Marriage is beautiful. I believe wholeheartedly in marriage. And if you desire for partnership, that desire is a valid one. But I just want you to know that if you're single, singleness is okay too. Actually, singleness is a season of formation. Shame disrupts that growth. Friendship, self love, and purpose build relational readiness. And that's where I want you to sit, is building yourself for readiness of life. There's nothing wrong with being single as you build. Actually, I think that's important. Here's my call to action. Okay. I want you to identify one area in your life where you already feel love today. One that is not in a romantic space. And I want you to start investing in that this week. I want you to see where you need to invest in how you love you if you're in this single space. Because the truth is, you're not behind, you're becoming, and that's okay. Thanks for sipping with me on Grounded Talk. Stay present, stay grounded, and keep growing on how you show up for yourself and the people you love. I'll see you next time.